Welcome to the 2023 NCAA Baseball Rules and Officiating video. My name is George Druchis, the NCAA National Coordinator of Umpires. It is my humble privilege to be of service to the great game of college baseball and work with the coaching and umpiring communities. During this video, the NCAA Baseball Umpire Program will be reviewing approved rule changes and interpretations effective for the 2023 season and their impact on how the game is to be officiated. We will be reviewing plays in response to the NCAA Baseball Rules Committee's continual effort to write rules that are enforceable for umpires. Please note that the NCAA Baseball Umpire Program is responsible for this script and that no attempt was made to embarrass any institution, coach, student-athlete, or umpire. All clips are used for instruction and making officiating better. The goal of this video is to develop a national style of officiating that will result in a consistent enforcement of the rules during non-conference, conference, and championship play. Stakeholders desire to have the plays officiated in the same manner no matter the conference, division, or geographic region that the game is played in this great country. Throughout the upcoming season, we will continue this effort with periodic video bulletins posted on plus.refquest.com. It is my sincere hope that all coaches, administrators, and umpires will make it a habit to view these bulletins regularly. It is important to acknowledge the coaches, coordinators, and umpires on their vigilant and successful collaborative efforts with the numerous game-changing rule changes and interpretations. Thank you for your efforts to improve the game we all love.
Hello, I'm Randy Bruns, NCAA Baseball Secretary Rules Editor. The 2022 season was tremendously competitive and successful in many ways. Looking forward to the 2023 season and beyond, the NCAA Baseball Rules Committee made a number of rule changes to improve safety, sportsmanlike conduct, competitive play, and the administration of the game. The purpose of this video is to highlight those changes. In any sport, player safety is always a top priority. By nature, baseball stadiums are very different in size, distances to the fences, and in the types of materials used to construct the fences. Due to these differences, it's recommended that each institution do a review of their playing facility to determine if additional padding should be placed on any hard surfaces that a player is likely to collide with during play. Professional baseball is experimenting with increasing the size of the bases to an 18-inch square to see if the change leads to more offense and increased safety. However, the current standard size of the bases for NCAA play remains unchanged at 15 inches square. This is required at all facilities owned by a member institution. However, games may be played at a non-institutionally owned facility, such as a professional baseball stadium, with 18-inch bases without the need for a waiver if 15-inch bases are not available for use. This clarification addresses concerns about a bat that may have become illegal during a game or later in a series after having been approved during the initial bat testing procedure. It is the responsibility of the batter to bring a legal bat to the plate each time.
A bat without the proper bat testing sticker that has been altered to improve performance, or that has become flattened or illegal due to continued use after the bat testing has been completed, is an illegal bat.
There are many different types of dugout designs in baseball facilities. This rule change requires a minimum amount of protection for team personnel that are sitting or standing within the dugout.
Facilities for college baseball shall have protective fencing or netting on the field side of the dugout at a height of not less than 3 feet from the field level. This protection is recommended immediately, but is required effective January 1, 2024 for Division I and January 1st, 2025 for Division II and III.
Historically, baseball was one of the only sports that allowed a coach to call timeout and enter the field of play to seek information or question an umpire's decision about a particular call. The past 2 seasons, a rule was implemented to maintain some physical distancing during coach and umpire conferences for health reasons and hopefully reduce the number of times where these conferences led to unsportsmanlike behavior. This rule has now been adopted for permanent use.
To ask a question about a call on the field, the head coach may only meet the calling umpire at the midpoint of their respective foul line. To consult with the home plate umpire, the head coach may not enter the dirt circle around home plate except during the pregame meeting.
NCAA baseball rules require that each game be started with a minimum of 2 umpires. A new rule addition allows the option to complete a game with 1 umpire if necessary due to illness, injury, or extenuating circumstances. Last season, a number of concerns were reported that potentially unsportsmanlike situations were being created when teams brought various props onto the field to celebrate a play, such as a home run. Appropriate celebrations with teammates are to be encouraged, but the use of such props is restricted to the team area within the dugout.
After a home run, a scoring play, or at the end of an inning, teams shall not bring celebratory props onto the field of play. Any such props must remain in the dugout. The penalty for a violation of this rule is a team warning. Any further violations after the team warning would result in the ejection of the offending team personnel. This rule is intended to minimize potential acts of unsportsmanlike conduct directed at opposing teams or players on the field of play.
Another option allowed during the past 2 seasons to decide a game in extra innings is now part of the regular rules. Note that this is an optional rule, similar to the 10-run rule after 7 innings.
By conference rule or mutual agreement prior to the start of the game, teams may start each extra half inning, for example, the 10th inning of a 9-inning game or the 8th inning of a 7-inning game, with a runner at second base. The player starting the extra inning as the runner at second base is the player or their substitute in the batting order immediately before the first batter of the extra inning.
Rule 517, that addressed verbal abuse or bench jockeying directed at opponents, was expanded to include both language and other unsportsmanlike actions directed towards players, coaches, umpires, or spectators.
This includes actions such as the following: negative comments directed at an opponent, umpire, or spectator; bench jockeying; orchestrated activities to distract or disconcert; bat flips near or toward an opponent or umpire; use of props or signs directed at an opponent or an umpiring decision.
Rule 64B deals with a runner who is trying to score being hit by a legal pitch, which would typically happen only during an attempted steal of home. If this happens, the ball is dead, and all base runners advance 1 base without liability to be put out. The previous exception in the NCAA rules that only allowed other base runners to advance 1 base if they were also stealing on the pitch has been deleted. This change brings our rules in alignment with other levels of play and eliminates the judgment if other runners were attempting to steal at the time of the pitch. Prior to the 2021 season, the designated hitter rule was updated, including a requirement that the designated hitter listed in the starting lineup must come to bat at least 1 time. However, a penalty was not listed to deal with the unlikely event that this happened. An interpretation was made to address this situation, and the penalty, similar to that used for batting out of order, has now been made part of the rule.
The proper batter, in other words, the originally listed designated hitter, may replace the improper batter before the batter becomes a runner or is put out and assume the current count. If the improper batter becomes a runner or is put out and an appeal is made before the next pitch, the original designated hitter is declared out and all runners return to bases occupied before any action by the improper batter. Any advances by runners due to a stolen base, balk, wild pitch, or passed ball are legal. The original designated hitter may remain in the game, and the improper batter remains an eligible substitute. If a proper appeal is not made, the improper batter becomes the designated hitter, and the result of the time at bat becomes official.
Rule 711H deals with a batter being out after a third strike is not caught and a runner occupies first base with less than 2 outs. Another sentence was added to the note to also address the situation when any uncaught pitch is inadvertently deflected by the batter or the umpire.
If a pitch that is not caught remains in the vicinity of home plate and it is inadvertently deflected by the batter or umpire, that ball is a dead ball, and the runners should return to the bases they occupied at the time of the pitch. If the pitch was strike 3, the batter is out. All runners should return to the base occupied at the time of the pitch, even if they were stealing on the pitch.
There is no change to the basic premise of the forced play slide rule. This is a safety and an interference rule. In order for a runner to not be at risk of having this rule enforced, they should slide legally on a forced play as in the past. However, there are instances where the umpires may now exercise some discretion and not call a runner out for not sliding. Let's take a look at an example.
There have been several plays in recent seasons where strictly enforcing the forced play slide rule using the existing language would have been very unfair to the offense. For example, if the defense misplays a ground ball or is late to make a throw to a base, the runner may assume that the fielder would throw to another base or already be safely on the base without sliding. As long as in the judgment of the umpire there is no question of safety and the runner did not interfere with the fielder making a play, the runner and the batter runner should not be called out. If there is any question of safety or interference with a fielder during a force play and the runner did not slide legally, the rule shall be enforced.
Rule 85D addresses the situation when a runner is called out for interfering with a fielder who is attempting to field a batted ball. But what is the call when the batted ball is a foul fly ball? The runner may be called out, but what is the status of the batter?
If a runner is declared out for interfering with a fielder who is attempting to field a foul batted ball, the ball is foul. If there are less than 2 outs when the interference occurs, the batter will complete their at-bat. If the third out occurs due to the interference, the current batter will be the first batter up the following inning.
Sometimes contact occurs during a play that causes a runner to lose contact with a base through no fault of their own. Consider the following type of play.
If, in the judgment of an umpire, a runner is pushed or forced off a base by a fielder, intentionally or unintentionally, at which the runner would otherwise have been called safe, the umpire has the authority and discretion under the circumstances to return the runner to the base they were forced off following the conclusion of the play.
The updated language of Rule 9(2)D makes the NCAA rule about a pitcher going to their mouth or lips while on the mound or touching the pitcher's plate similar to that used in professional baseball.
The updated rule provides one warning for the first violation of not wiping fingers before touching the ball after going to the mouth. The pitcher shall not, while in the circle surrounding the pitcher's plate, touch the ball after touching their mouth or lips, or touch their mouth or lips while in contact with the pitcher's plate. The pitcher must clearly wipe the fingers of their pitching hand dry before touching the ball or the pitcher's plate. Penalty: remove the ball from play and issue a warning to the pitcher. Any subsequent violation shall be called a ball.
The updated note following Rule 9.3g specifies that when a batter's action is the reason the pitcher interrupts the delivery of a pitch, it is not to be called a balk or an illegal pitch.
If the pitcher stops or hesitates the delivery or throws the ball in a manner that the umpire judges is clearly not intended to be a pitch to the batter, such as a ball thrown into the ground or dropped, because the batter steps out of the box, holds up their hand, or uses any other action as if calling time, it shall not be a balk if runners are on base, or an illegal pitch with no runners. The umpire shall call time, reset, and resume play.
The overall philosophy of Appendix E remains that umpires should always seek to get the call right. With that in mind, a couple changes were made to allow additional consultation among the umpire crew to decide specific situations when not using video review.
In Section C, hit-by-pitch situations were added to the list of types of plays that can be reviewed by the umpire crew. A base umpire may have a better view to help decide if the batter was hit by the pitch or moved intentionally to get hit by the pitch. Also, umpire discretion is now allowed in placing the runners when changing a call of catch to no catch or changing a call of no catch to catch. As always, the umpire crew should be conservative in their placement of runners. If there is any doubt, the existing guidelines as stated should be followed. These same guidelines would also apply if using video review.
Video review is being utilized more each season. Several changes were made in the administration of video review for the coming season.
Two types of plays were added to the list of reviewable plays: catcher's interference with the batter's swing except on a squeeze play or a steal of home, and malicious contact at any location. All types of reviewable plays require a head coach's challenge, except for a potential home run and malicious contact, which can be reviewed at any time. A crew chief review is allowed at their discretion during the last 2 innings of regulation and any extra innings if the affected team is out of challenges.
The use of a visible clock to display the time limits between pitches and between innings allows all participants to see how much time remains, leading to a better pace of play, less violations, and more consistent enforcement. Currently, the use of one or more visible clocks at all times during the game is highly recommended. Effective January 1 of 2024 for Division I and January 1, 2025 for Divisions 2 and 3, the use of one or more visible clocks during all times of the game is required. To provide a more consistent pace of play, the rule to administer the 20-second action time limit between pitches has been changed in the following ways.
The pitcher is now required to begin the wind-up motion or the motion to deliver the pitch from a set position and not just come set before the expiration of the 20-second time limit. With runners on base, the pitcher may attempt as many pickoff throws as desired in an attempt to retire a runner. The pickoff throw may be made by stepping toward an occupied base directly from the pitcher's plate or after stepping off the pitcher's plate and immediately making a play on the runner. The time limit will stop and reset when the ball is returned to the pitcher on the mound. The pitcher may step off the rubber to get a new sign, or look back a runner, or step off to feint a throw toward a runner without making a throw. The time limit will reset and restart immediately, or restart when the pitcher returns and possesses the ball on the mound, but only one reset is allowed per at-bat. A defensive player, such as the catcher, asking for timeout without taking a charged defensive conference constitutes a reset. After the pitcher has used the reset during an at-bat, they must either pitch the ball within the time limit, make a legitimate pickoff attempt by throwing the ball, step off the pitcher's plate and make a play on a runner by tagging out a runner, have a runner advance a base, or call time to take a charged defensive conference. If the pitcher steps off and each base runner returns to their original base without a legitimate pickoff throw being made, it is a violation. Each violation of the time limit is a ball. There are no warnings. As stated in number 9 of the 20-second action clock limit section of Appendix F, batters are expected to enter the batter's box promptly prior to the first pitch of an at-bat and should remain in the batter's box in accordance with the batter's box rule. Batters should not delay entry to gain an undue advantage. The protocol designating that a batter shall be in the box and alert to the pitcher with 5 or more seconds remaining on the action clock was developed when the clock stopped when the pitcher started the motion to come to the set position. With the recent change to the 20-second action time limit, the mechanism that stops the clock is now when the pitcher starts the motion to deliver the pitch. Feedback was received this fall that maintaining the protocol of 5 seconds would place undue burden on the pitcher to receive a sign, come set, and start the motion to deliver the pitch when a batter waits until 5 seconds remain on the action clock. To address voiced concerns about gamesmanship and to provide an equitable application of the rule for the offense and defense, the batter shall be in the batter's box and alert to the pitcher with 10 seconds or more remaining on the action clock.
The guidelines to administer the 120-second limit between innings in Appendix F allow for some additional time if the catcher is the third out of an inning or is on base when the third out is made. A similar accommodation should be made for a pitcher-designated hitter.
If the pitcher DH is the third out or on base when the third out is made to end the inning, start the time limit as always, but allow the pitcher DH to get their glove and start the warm-ups without penalizing the defense if the 120-second time limit expires.
These changes will continue to improve the game of college baseball for everyone involved, whether as a player, coach, umpire, administrator, or spectator. Thank you for all that you do for this great sport, and best wishes for a safe and successful season in 2023.
I encourage all coaches, administrators, and umpires to review the 2023 NCAA Video Review Regulations. Centralized video review in the 141 games played in last year's NCAA Division I Baseball Championship indicated 205 total reviews. 169 reviews were coach-initiated challenges. 154 of the 205 reviews were in the force tag category. 170 of the 205 video reviews were confirmed or stands. 35 were overturned, and average length of review 1 minute 23 seconds. During 2022, the incident, ejection, suspension reports increased 6% from 2021. As a reminder, whether you are a coach or an official, when you are in control of your emotions, one can communicate in a professional manner. Umpires, utilize the formal warning whenever possible. Discipline yourself to be credible and concise in your communication, and remember your true role of managing the game. Coaches, it is very important for the integrity of our game to select officials for the championship who are adhering to the rules, points of emphasis, and the NCAA baseball umpire program's protocols. We have high expectations of our officials. Starting this season, all head coaches' appeals of an umpire's decision or interpretation of the rules for a play on the bases are to be made at the middle point of the team's respective foul line. A head coach cannot enter the dirt circle for decisions or interpretations of the rules for plays at home plate or for lineup changes. Continued respect to on-field health and safety protocols, players, coaches, and umpires should maintain physical distancing in 2023 as well. The NCAA Baseball Umpire Program, in conjunction with the Baseball Conference Coordinators, has a goal to eliminate the confusion across the entire collegiate baseball landscape concerning the inconsistent application of the prolonged participant suspension and to further clarify the processes and protocols of what actions constitute a prolonged suspension following an ejection. Finally, 45% of the Division I baseball ejection suspension reports filed last year were categorized balls and strikes, with most of these ball strike ejection reports indicating that a formal warning had been issued prior to the ejection. Umpires, continue with the formal warning whenever possible in this situation. Coaches, please recognize the rationale of the formal warning regarding balls and strikes. In an effort to address this disturbing high percentage of ball strike ejections, a national NCAA strike zone initiative is being established. Our endeavor, as it pertains to technology, is to standardize the metrics by educating the coaching and officiating communities about our efforts. We plan to achieve consistency in not only how anyone would evaluate the information, but develop a more universal measurement of an acceptable correctness rate when interpreting the data. Our goal is to set the standards, allowing all stakeholders to engage in meaningful dialogue across the collegiate game. It is my belief that this initiative and the collaborative diligence of the coaches, umpires, and coordinators will lead to a significant decrease in the number of ball strike ejections in 2023. America's pastime has a long and storied history, and every part of that history includes the umpires that make the games possible. Many NCAA umpires played college baseball and have found officiating to be a wonderful avocation. Coaches, please encourage your student athletes to consider officiating baseball once their playing career ends. For more information on how to become an umpire, please go to the website on the screen. My goal has always been to continue to grow the NCAA baseball umpire program and to manage and lead the many facets of the program. An excellent, dedicated, and passionate staff assists this effort greatly. Perception and professionalism continue to be emphasized. Teaching and mentoring the NCAA way is job number one, inclusive of consistency, accuracy, and poise in our dealings on the field. The NCAA Division I Baseball Committee and the Baseball Umpire Program are committed to improving umpiring during the regular season as well as the NCAA Baseball Championship. The continued growth of college baseball makes it imperative that we strive to assign well-trained and qualified umpires to every game throughout the season. The NCAA baseball umpire policies in 2023 will serve as surety and will safeguard these directives. Wishing all the stakeholders of our great game of NCAA college baseball the very best in 2023. Thank you.